Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Ruben Amorim could be left to rue his decision not to swiftly raid former club Sporting CP after Chelsea agreed a deal to sign highly rated talent Giovanni Quenda, who was on Manchester United's radar. Reports of Enzo Maresca's side agreeing a transfer in principle for the Portuguese star broke on Thursday night and came as a shock, considering the reported interest United had in the 17-year-old. Quenda, who can play as a winger and wing-back, made his professional debut earlier this season under Amorim, before the head coach left his native country to replace Erik Ten Hag at Old Trafford. Upon his arrival in Manchester, the 40-year-old promised not to raid his former club, given the likes of Victor Gyökeres and Goncalo Ignacio have routinely been linked with moves away from Sporting. He said, "I will not sign any Sporting player at Man United in January. Then, what happens in the summer? I don't know. Sporting players are good players. We will see what happens." With Amorim staying true to his promise and opting to sign Patrick Dorgu and Aidan Heaven in the January transfer window, the Blues swooped in and captured Quenda's signature with a fee of £40 million, reportedly agreed, although he is not set to join the club until 2026. As the teenager is now off the market, Amorim has been left with a real dilemma in who will be his long-term right wing-back, which has been a problem position for United this season. While he did welcome two new rivals in January, the United boss admitted that it was a risk not to bring in more players suited to his 3-4-3 system amid their league struggles. "I know when I chose this profession that you have the risk of results, and I knew when I came here. I looked at the schedule, I looked at the team. It was my decision, and changing everything in the middle of the season without new signings is a danger for a coach," he said earlier this year. "But I have a clear idea of what I want to do, and I take these risks because in the end, it's going to pay off. But I'm not naive. I said that many times. This is a sport of results, and we are in a difficult situation." While United sit down in 14th in the Premier League table, they've advanced to the quarter-finals of the Europa League after a 4-1 win over Real Sociedad on Thursday. A Bruno Fernandes hat-trick and stoppage-time goal from Diogo Dalot made sure of United's 5-2 win on aggregate as they now take on Lyon for a spot in the Final Four. In the meantime, United reunite with Ruud van Nistelrooy as they face his troubled Leicester City on Sunday before the international break. Ruben Amorim again saluted Bruno Fernandes and said he is desperate to help his perfect captain win trophies. Fernandes fired Manchester United into the last 8 with another skipper's performance at Old Trafford. After going behind to an early Mikel Oyarzabal spot kick, Fernandes calmly rolled in 2 penalties and struck a superb third as Amorim's side saw off Real Sociedad to set up a quarter-final clash with Lyon. The win, capped by a Diogo Dalot strike in added time, means United remain the only unbeaten team in European competition and keeps their troubled season alive. And Amorim declared Bruno is the perfect captain for our team, and we need to help him win titles because he deserves them. When we need him, he is always there. The 4-1 win was the best performance under Amorim, and the United manager was clearly delighted, saying, "We did a very complete exhibition. We feel we can go to the next stage. We feel we can go to another stage." This game was good for the club, for the players, and for the fans. I felt that we were ready for this kind of game. I felt the team was full of confidence. We showed a bit of the future. United were helped by referee Benoit Bastien, who sent off John Aramburu just after the hour mark, with the home side 2-1 up, for denying Patrick Dorgu a goal-scoring opportunity only 15 yards inside the Real Sociedad half. But they did not need any help as they put up their best display for some time. Fernandes, though, was not getting carried away, saying, "We have a long way to go, but we are confident if we focus on every game and have the right mentality, we can win games. The progress will be seen if we get results. At this club, it is all about results." There was an unusual incident towards the end of the game when United appeared to be given a third penalty, only for Dorgu to tell the referee he had not been fouled. Amorim smiled. "It is the right thing to do, so I'm quite proud of him. but I cannot say if it is 0-0 or losing. I have the same response. Manchester United have been told they need to write a cheque to get Harry Maguire to leave and rid the dressing room of disease. The 32-year-old has experienced a mixed time at Old Trafford since becoming the world's most expensive defender in 2019. The Red Devils forked out £80 million to sign Maguire from Leicester, but he came close to leaving for West Ham in the summer of 2023 after struggling to find his feet. The England star has enjoyed a renaissance under Ruben Amorim this season, leading to the club triggering a one-year extension to his contract in January. The decision was taken after he was initially expected to leave this summer, following the expiry of his original deal. However, despite the uptick in Maguire's form, United are now being urged to pay up his £190,000 a week contract and send him on his way. The call was made by former Liverpool and Aston Villa striker Dean Saunders, who believes widespread changes are needed to rid the disease in the dressing room, with United currently languishing in 14th in the Premier League table. The ex-Wolves and Wrexham manager said letting Maguire go would enable Amorim to make room for much-needed improvements. Saunders made his comments on TalkSport after United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe claimed the club would be bankrupt by Christmas this year if he did not introduce controversial cost-cutting measures. People don't realise that being backed by an owner of a club is not all about bringing players in, said Saunders. It's writing cheques to get rid of the disease in the dressing room. If you let that disease keep going, it gets bigger and bigger. For example, they've tried to sell Harry Maguire about 5 times, and obviously nobody can afford his wages. You've got to write a cheque to Harry Maguire and say, off you go. Then at least you've got a dressing room that's all pulling in the same direction. That's just as important as bringing players in. Saunders believes United have struggled to find value for money in the transfer market since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013. He highlighted the sum of more than £80 million which the club paid to sign winger Antony from Ajax in September 2022 as an example of their failings. The Brazilian has scored only 12 goals in 96 appearances for United and was sent out on loan to Real Betis in January, with his long-term future up in the air. Saunders said, if you look back at when Fergie left, they've appointed some really good managers, paying the top wages to every player, and not succeeding for this amount of time. They've paid over the odds. Arsenal were getting ripped off in the transfer market, but Man United are unbelievable. I don't want to be hypercritical of him, because I know how hard it is to play at that level, but look at Antony's transfer fee, and you wonder why you're bankrupt. Saunders also suggested the Glazer family would have been delighted at Ratcliffe buying into the club to distract from their own shortcomings. He added, they must be thinking, we've had a right result here because he's taking all the flack. He's gone to Manchester United, and he must have known that they were in a bit of trouble when he's had a look at the books. Mason Mount has been branded one of the worst signings ever by former Manchester United star Paul Parker. Mount joined United from Chelsea for £60 million in 2023, but has spent much of the time since injured and unavailable for selection. Parker pulled no punches in his brutal assessment of Mount, claiming the England midfielder's signing had turned out to be a catastrophe and branded him a disaster. And in a further swipe at Mount, Parker claimed Chelsea would have been ecstatic at getting such a big fee for a player who only had a year left on his contract. Mason Mount is one of the worst signings ever, said Parker. Like, in the history of football. It's literally a catastrophe. He's a disaster. And he was that in Chelsea as well, so I can't get my head around why United decided to bring him in. I have always said that I don't know what his best position is. I don't know what he is good at. And even worse, I don't think he knows either. Of course, it is a shame for him that he's always injured. But is he really injured? I don't know. But it seems like he very easily gets in a shape where he can't or doesn't want to play football. I'm sure he's a good lad, 100%, but he doesn't have the level to play for United. And he is not the only one. I'm well aware of that. He might not even be the biggest problem, but he's just not helping the team, and that's regardless of whether he's playing or not. I hope the club and him can find a solution, because that would be the best for everyone. Chelsea are ecstatic that they managed to get rid of him. They helped him financially, but more than that, they got so many players who are not just one level, but levels above him. Mount is currently sidelined by a hamstring injury, and is not expected back until the end of next month, to sum up a difficult season that has seen him start just 4 Premier League games this season. The England international also struggled with fitness issues last season, after a calf and hamstring problems kept him out for nearly 5 months, with the player starting only 5 league games of that campaign. He has only managed 33 appearances in all competitions for the Red Devils.